Hey guys, Venomous here, and I got a brand new OTGT for you. Now today I'm talking about Dante's Inferno. I know the game's been out for a little while, but in case you guys didn't remember, in case you guys who are new subscribers don't know, I pretty much do reviews about just about every other game that's out there, whether it's new or old. Anything that I find that I want to talk about, I'll do an OTGT about it. Anyway, Dante's Inferno. What is Dante's Inferno for you guys who haven't really played it? It's pretty much kind of like a straight up clone almost to God of War, okay? But here's the thing that sets it aside from like other clone games that clone other games that get things right. Is that Dante's Inferno is based on the actual poem called Dante's Inferno, the epic, which is pretty much about a guy that pretty much goes down, has his, wife or his kind of like loved one that gets taken into hell, and he has to go through the 7 stages of hell in order to actually, liberate her and, and save her. I'm not going to spoil the ending for you guys, but if you have read the book or, the epic and stuff and you know the story, it's pretty much almost the exact same thing, but with a lot of God of War-ish type of flair to it. It's a pretty much a straight up beat 'em up, a hack and slash, where you pretty much are slaying monsters that are being thrown at you as you go through the 7 stages of hell. 7 stages of hell are based on the 7 deadly sins, in case you guys, that whole religion thing, in case you're into that. But basically the story revolves around that. It's pretty much a straight up story from the actual epic. The gameplay is almost exactly like God of War. Even Dante himself runs like how Kratos does, for the most part. And it kind of sucks a little bit how such a game that, has such great source material is almost like copying God of War in the sense. But when you actually play it and you're actually going through the whole thing and, you're getting immersed in the story, you kind of get to that point where you really don't care. And me, myself, when I was playing it, I really didn't care that it looked like, was it God of War? I didn't notice it because the similarities are very heavy. Like, pretty much the way that Dante attacks and stuff is pretty much very similar, but he has his own weapon, which is pretty much a scythe that he, procures in a particular way. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but he gets this scythe, okay, and that's how he actually fights the minions of hell, for the most part. But anyway, like I said, he has, the way he actually moves his body and stuff, is very similar to that. But other than that, pretty much Dante's Inferno pretty much has his own pretty much setting and, mood to it, because it is taking place in hell for the most part. And a lot of the monsters and stuff are very hellacious for the most part, because they're pretty much the nastiest things you could think of. I know there's one nasty part where you're actually fighting Cleopatra. No spoilers here, but go look up the fight or go play the fight where you actually fight Cleopatra, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's very freaking nasty, some of the stuff that you have to actually come in contact with, because it is based in hell. So hell is like the most like complete nastiest, the worst things, a culmination of the worst things you could possibly think of, is what comprises pretty much what is hell. But anyway, besides all that, the game is pretty good. Granted, it does borrow a lot from God of War, but what it borrows what God of War did right. And even though it doesn't contribute anything new besides a different story, it still is a pretty decent game, to play and stuff. They have some DLC for it for the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, but it's not really worth buying, honestly. It's pretty much like almost like an extra level and stuff. I myself didn't get it, but I've seen videos of it and stuff. It doesn't look like anything special for the most part. You do get, I think, another costume or something like that. I may be wrong, but for the most part, it's not really worth the points to spend on it, or, the money to spend on it. But anyway, the game itself is pretty decent. I tried it on the PlayStation Portable. I tried it also on the Xbox 360. They're pretty similar. The only real big difference is the graphics and stuff, because of the hardware difference. But the game is pretty good, okay? It's worth a rent. If you guys are into, like, how God of War plays, you should definitely buy it, because it's pretty much very similar with a different story to it. It's not Greek mythology. It's more kind of like Catholic mythology, for the most part. But anyway, really good game, definitely worth the rent. I myself kind of enjoyed it. But other than that, there's not really much to say about this game. It's not really bad. Don't get me wrong. Like, some of the enemies can get pretty damn tough, very similar to how God of War is as far as difficulty and stuff, especially as you get to the later on levels, as you ascend the different stages of hell and stuff. But for the most part, it's pretty decent. It doesn't do anything bad. It just doesn't do anything that's extravagant and something new. It just does what's already been done before, for the most part. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents on it. You guys can leave your comments and video responses. I don't mind, okay? And I'll talk to you guys again real soon. Venomous out, and that was only the goddamn truth, people. Talk to y'all later.